What's up, crypto family? Today, I'm about to blow your mind with information that will completely change how you think about money, blockchain technology, and the fastest wealth creation event in human history. We're talking about a transformation so massive that it's going from a $4 trillion cryptocurrency market to potentially $100 trillion over the next decade. And here's the kicker. It's happening faster than anyone predicted, including myself. Just last week, I was having dinner with a former JP Morgan executive who told me something that literally made me drop my fork. He said, the regulatory floodgates didn't just open in 2025, they got completely obliterated. What he meant will become crystal clear as we dive into the most comprehensive analysis of institutional adoption, mobile wallet integration, and XRP's infrastructure leadership that you've ever seen. Let me start with some mind-blowing numbers that most people completely missed. XRP futures on CME Group achieved something unprecedented. They became the fastest crypto contract to reach $1 billion in open interest in just over 3 months since launch. This record-breaking growth outpaced even Bitcoin and Ethereum's early derivatives adoption. We're talking about $8.1 billion in volume for August alone, with CME reporting over 1,000 large open interest holders, contributing to a record $36 billion total crypto open interest. But here's where it gets insane. Ripple's on-demand liquidity processed $1.3 trillion in cross-border transactions in 2025. Let me put that in perspective. That's more than the GDP of most countries flowing through XRP rails in a single year. This isn't speculation. This is institutional validation at the highest level. Now, here's the part that will absolutely shock you. The crypto ecosystem is approaching what industry insiders are calling the overnight wallet revolution. Apple Pay currently serves 744 million users globally, while Google Wallet reaches 200 to 250 million users. But here's the game changer. Recent policy changes have opened the door for native crypto functionality, with Apple dropping its 30% fee on external crypto transactions and allowing direct wallet integration. Think about this for a moment. Digital wallet usage has exploded to over 5.3 billion people globally, with transaction volumes projected to exceed $16 trillion by 2028. Now imagine adding cryptocurrency and central bank digital currency capabilities to that existing infrastructure. We're not talking about gradual adoption. We're talking about the potential for 6 to 7 billion people to get crypto wallets virtually overnight through Android and Apple operating system updates. I remember when I first heard this concept at a blockchain conference in Singapore earlier this year. A former Apple engineer was explaining the technical architecture, and honestly, I thought it sounded too revolutionary to be true. But then I started digging into the Federal Reserve research, Bank for International Settlements reports, and regulatory filings. Guys, this isn't science fiction. This is happening right now. The hardware security infrastructure already exists. Apple's Secure Enclave and Google's Titan security chips provide military-grade protection for cryptographic operations. The regulatory framework is in place. The institutional demand is exploding. All that's missing is the switch being flipped. Here's where the regulatory revolution comes in. The crypto landscape underwent seismic shifts throughout 2025 that most people completely missed. In July, Congress passed the Genius Act, guiding and establishing national innovation for U.S. stablecoins, creating the first federal regulatory framework for stablecoins. This was followed by the Clarity Act, which transfers jurisdiction over digital assets from the SEC to the CFTC. Paul Atkins, the current SEC chairman, launched Project Crypto and definitively stated that most crypto assets are not securities. This represents a complete 180-degree turn from the previous regulation by enforcement approach. Within 30 days of these acts becoming law, Silicon Valley's biggest players went from being legally restricted from meaningful cryptocurrency development to having clear regulatory roadmaps. Let me share a personal story that drives this home. Last month, I was talking to my neighbor who works at one of the major tech companies in the Bay Area. He told me that projects that were completely off limits just 6 months ago are now being fast-tracked through executive approval. The regulatory transformation happened so quickly that even industry insiders were caught off guard. But this is just the foundation. The real story is what's happening with institutional adoption and the infrastructure being built right now. Pay attention to these numbers because they're absolutely staggering. Stablecoin circulation reached $253.7 billion in 2025, with 90% of businesses now engaging in some form of stablecoin use or testing. These tokens processed over $30 billion in daily transactions, yet this still represents less than 1% of global money flows. When native mobile wallet integration happens, we could see these volumes multiply by orders of magnitude. The infrastructure development is accelerating at breakneck speed. Major institutions like Stripe acquired Bridge, a stablecoin orchestration platform, for $1.1 billion specifically to enhance cross-border payment capabilities. This isn't speculative investment. It's institutional validation that stablecoin payments will become mainstream payment rails. Now here's where central bank digital currencies enter the picture. Currently, 94% of central banks are actively researching CBDCs, with 81% developing proofs of concept and 33% running pilot projects. Countries like the Bahamas, Jamaica, and Nigeria have already launched live CBDC systems. But here's the breakthrough most people missed. Native mobile wallet ecosystems provide the perfect distribution mechanism for CBDCs. Instead of central banks needing to build entirely separate distribution systems, they can leverage existing smartphone infrastructure. The two-tier CBDC model, where central banks distribute digital currency through commercial banks, could seamlessly integrate with native mobile wallets. This creates unprecedented opportunities. Central banks could offer $500, $1,000, or even $2,000 sign-up bonuses to encourage CBDC adoption. When wallets are native to devices and the friction is minimal, these incentives could drive massive adoption rates. Consider this: most consumers can't afford unexpected $1,000 medical expenses. If governments offered substantial sign-up bonuses for digital wallet adoption rates would skyrocket, regardless of philosophical reservations.
And you guys, I have a special trick for you, which nobody seems to be using, and I cannot wrap my head around why. Because if you sign up through my link down in the description onto the BTCC exchange, you get a 10% deposit bonus. And now stay with me here. Now, here comes the important part. If you have any trading capital on any other exchange and you move it to your newly created BTCC account, you get on top of your capital you moved another 10% extra trading capital. As an example, if you move or deposit 10K to your account, you get 1K for free. And here is why this is possible. BTCC makes money on trading fees. The more capital you have, the more you trade. The more you trade, the more they earn. So they are literally investing in your trading activity by giving you extra capital up front. And unlike other platforms where bonuses are in the 1 to 3% range, BTCC's bonus is a full 10%. I'm not kidding. I really don't understand why nobody is doing this. To me, it really seems like people sometimes are too lazy or just don't like free money. I kindly ask you to pause this video and take your time to make an account. You can thank me later in the description of this video.
Here's where XRP becomes absolutely critical to this entire ecosystem. The asset achieved significant institutional validation in 2025, with the SEC reclassifying XRP as a commodity. More importantly, Ripple's on-demand liquidity processed $1.3 trillion in transactions in Q2 2025 alone. XRP's technical specifications make it perfect for this new world. 1,500 transactions per second, 0.0002 fees, and 3 to 5 second settlement times. When integrated natively into mobile devices, XRP could serve as the bridge currency for international remittances and cross-border payments. The XRP ledger's tokenization capabilities, including support for stablecoins like RLUSD and real-world asset tokenization projects, position it as infrastructure for the broader digital asset ecosystem. Let me break down RLUSD because this is game-changing technology. RLUSD is Ripple's native USD-backed stablecoin designed to combine fiat stability with XRPL speed and cost efficiency. Transactions finalize within seconds at sub-penny fees compared to minute-level settlement and volatile gas costs on alternative networks. RLUSD is issued one-to-one by Ripple's subsidiary Standard Custody and Trust Company under New York Department of Financial Services regulation, with mandatory reserve attestations ensuring transparency and regulatory alignment. The integration directly on the XRP ledger eliminates reliance on third-party blockchains and removes intermediaries. Here's why this matters for institutional adoption. RippleNet had onboarded over 300 financial institutions across 45 countries by mid-2025, including Santander, SBI Holdings, Bank of America, PNC, Standard Chartered, Shinhan Bank, Woori, and American Express. 40% of these partners utilized XRP for ODL transactions, translating into real-world liquidity flows, totaling over $15 billion in 2024 alone. The mathematical implications are absolutely insane. The global foreign exchange market processes approximately $7.5 trillion daily. If XRP-powered ODL corridors captured just 0.1% of daily FX flows, that would represent $7.5 billion in daily bridge asset demand, a five-fold increase over current XRP trading volumes. Quantitative models suggest that capturing 1% of global foreign exchange volumes through ODL could generate buy pressure leading to XRP prices in the $3 to $4.50 range. A 5% capture rate might push XRP into the $5 to $8 range, while 10% or greater adoption could drive XRP above $10. But we're not just talking about XRP. This transformation encompasses the entire blockchain ecosystem. The J.P. Morgan Ondo Finance Partnership provides a blueprint for how traditional finance integrates with blockchain technology. In May 2025, they completed the first cross-chain delivery versus payment transaction, involving Ondo's tokenized U.S. Treasuries and USD deposits at J.P. Morgan. This transaction set an industry record for the largest on-chain institutional settlement at $150 million in treasury tokens exchanged in under 5 minutes. Ondo Finance exemplifies the real-world asset tokenization trend. Their USDY token offers daily yield distributions tracking 4.2% annualized as of August 2025, compared to U.S. inflation at 3.1%, and traditional bank savings rates averaging 0.5%. Between May and September 2025, their OUSG token grew to $500 million in outstanding supply, trading on major institutional platforms. Here's what most people don't understand about the timing. We're not looking at cycle peak conditions despite the massive growth. None of the 30 widely monitored bull market top indicators are showing extreme readings. The Bitcoin AHR 999 index sites at 1.1, well below historical peak levels above 1.5. The Puel multiple hovers around 2, indicating healthy miner revenues without excessive overheating. The market value to realized value Z-score registers approximately 2.5, suggesting robust gains without euphoric overvaluation. Historical Z-scores above 5 typically indicate cycle peaks, so we're nowhere close to those levels. Corporate treasury departments are positioning aggressively. MicroStrategy added 430 Bitcoin in September 2025, bringing total holdings to 638,460 Bitcoin valued at $71.6 billion, representing 51.8% gains on cost basis. This demonstrates sustained institutional conviction despite short-term volatility. The seasonal outlook adds another bullish dimension. Historically, August and September exhibit consolidation before significant year-end rallies. In 2017, Bitcoin traded sideways through autumn before accelerating from $4,500 in October to nearly $20,000 in December. Similar patterns in 2020 to 2021 saw explosive growth from fall into spring. The tokenized asset market skyrocketed from $85 million in 2020 to over $21 billion by April 2025, a 245-fold increase. 83% of institutional investors plan to boost crypto exposure, with 76% targeting tokenized assets by 2026. Digital assets market revenue is projected to reach $100.2 billion in 2025, growing at nearly 10% annually. Now here's the convergence that creates the $100 trillion opportunity. Cross-border payments totaling over $40 trillion in 2024 are projected to grow at 5% annually, with blockchain-powered systems reducing processing times from days to seconds and cutting costs by up to 70%. Tokenized real-world assets are projected to reach $30 to $50 trillion by 2030. The combination of native mobile wallet distribution, institutional infrastructure maturation, regulatory clarity, CBDC deployment, and real-world asset tokenization creates conditions for explosive growth. When 6 to 7 billion people have native crypto wallets, when central banks distribute digital currency instantly, when tokenized assets enable fractional ownership of global markets, and when XRP provides the bridge infrastructure connecting these systems, we're looking at financial evolution at unprecedented scale. The helicopter money mechanism represents a revolutionary monetary policy tool. Rather than complex bank distribution systems, central banks could distribute economic stimulus directly to mobile wallets within minutes of policy decisions. This isn't theoretical. Pilot programs in multiple jurisdictions have successfully tested direct digital wallet stimulus distribution. API integration represents the revolutionary component most people overlook. Operating system-level crypto wallets would enable every application, Telegram, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, to request payment signatures seamlessly. Sending cryptocurrency would become as simple as sending a text message. Here's my prediction based on all this data. We're witnessing the transition from experimental technology to foundational financial infrastructure. The smartphone in your pocket could become the most powerful financial tool ever created through operating system-level integration that makes cryptocurrency as accessible as sending an email. The convergence is clear. Technology platforms seeking payment dominance, central banks requiring digital currency distribution, businesses demanding faster international settlement, and consumers wanting simpler financial tools. When these forces align with regulatory clarity and technical capability, the transformation from experimental technology to ubiquitous infrastructure happens with startling speed. This is why I'm absolutely convinced we're about to see the fastest wealth creation event in human history. The infrastructure is ready, the regulations are clear, and the adoption mechanisms are deploying globally. The question isn't whether this will happen, it's whether you'll position yourself to benefit from what could be the most explosive growth phase cryptocurrency has ever experienced. So grab your popcorn, keep your charts ready, and prepare for the ride of a lifetime. When institutions fully embrace blockchain rails, when native crypto wallets reach billions of users, and when programmable money becomes as common as smartphones, we're looking at a complete transformation of the global financial system. The future of money is entering our pockets faster than anyone imagined possible. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Smash that like button if this analysis opened your eyes to the massive transformation happening right now. Hit subscribe for daily updates as we track the greatest financial revolution of our lifetime, and drop a comment below telling me which aspect excites you most, because the best is definitely yet to come.